The trust was broken prior to that point.
With Minnetonka Public Schools?
It was. When the point in time that occurred to us that we're no longer working in a healthy, functioning partnership on behalf of our son, was in second grade. And I remember very clearly sending an email to his general education teacher and his special education case manager and laying out 8 different points of concerns that I had, dyslexia being one of them.
Yeah.
And was met with an offer to, well, let's meet. It was not a formal IEP team meeting, but rather an informal meeting that once it was scheduled had to be rescheduled for farther down the road. And the special education teacher led that meeting and was showing us, here's the blue and pink Dixie cups that I used to show him the different, letters, sounds, consonants versus vowels, and he's working so hard, and here's a binder, and we flipped through it, and we were really encouraged to celebrate the very minimal, de minimis progress that he was making without any of our concerns actually being addressed.
So it almost sounds like it's just pandering, or just.
There was a lot of pandering, and the pandering in hindsight was happening throughout.
Yeah.
We didn't wake up to it until he was in the second grade.
Yeah.
And waking up to that also came with the realization that we're spending time, precious time in developmental years.
And you're spending money too.
And we're spending money. This entire time frame that he was in school up until the middle of third grade, we were paying for private services for 6 years.
Yeah.
Doing what we thought he needed based on an inaccurate communication of an autism qualification. Whereas had we been able to have an honest conversation based on data on the record, that he had dyslexia, that he needed phonological awareness instruction, that he needed very explicit, systematic, multisensory reading interventions, we would have targeted that. As parents, each time we were given advice, we acted on that. We didn't sit on it. And to think that we spent years focusing on the wrong things is my biggest regret.
And when you look back at it, what was the move then once you found out in third grade, and then the trust is broken, and I guess the question is, what is your son saying at this time?
At this time in third grade, my son was calling himself stupid. It was very clear that he was aware that he couldn't do things that his other friends and peers could do in his classroom.
Yeah.
And his self-esteem was really suffering.
Was there any frustration and anger, or?
Surprisingly, he's a very happy, positive human being.
Yeah.
And throughout all of this, that has maintained. And in fact, a couple of the doctors that have worked with him have commented that, it's really a testament to who he is, because he has every reason to be much more frustrated and angry than he is.
Yeah. And that sounds like a through line for a lot of kids with dyslexia. It's this separation from everyone else.
Yeah.
And then the constant reach and forcible, just assimilate with the classroom, normalize with us.
Yep.
When really, what it sounds like we're discussing is letting the culture of these schools kind of carve out space for these kids anyways, instead of trying to force them into what they believe is should be the pathway that they've already set, the rails that they've already set. And it sounds like Minnetonka Public Schools wasn't necessarily too flexible with that.